My name is Coach Danny, and today we are going to learn some basic movements that you will need for your kettlebell plans. Some functional training and kettlebell training, we distinguish 5 different type of movements. So we have the hip hinge type of movements, I will show you soon. We have the squat type of movements. We also have the presses, the pulls, the carries, and the 6 is like for everything else, like core and other kind of things that we can put in the other boxes. Yeah. So first we start with the hip hinge type of movements. So this is our hip here. Yeah. And basically when we do a hip hinge, we try to do usually a full bend in the hips and some bend in the knees, but not a full one, as opposed to a squat where you have a full bend in the hips and also in the knees as well, in another order. So it's not like you first start with the hips and then the knees. Basically, you will do it simultaneously, but that will be a squat. Yeah. In another angle, I also show you this. Yeah. But first we will learn the hinge, the hip hinge, yeah? Again, which kind of like looks like this, yeah? Or from this angle, I show you this way as well, yeah? So our first exercise that teaches this pattern will be the wall primer, yeah? So you need to choose a wall, or in this case I use my cupboard, yeah? And you will go very close to the wall, facing in the other way, yeah? And you will put your hands somewhere here in your hip, yeah? And you will try to push backwards with your buttocks, yeah? And you try to reach the wall. If you manage, you just go just a little bit further from the wall, and you do it again with a flat back and just pushing backwards. You are not pushing downwards, yeah, it's very important. Then you start to do kind of like a squat, yeah? So that's why we're doing this. So we try to touch the wall, and if you are succeeding, you go a little bit further away again and do it again. I was successful, so again, I touched it. I think maybe the next step will be too much for me, but we will see. So I try to touch it, but then I lose my balance, you see? So I cannot go further behind because if I want to touch it, I go off balance. So I need to go back just a bit. And let's see if I can touch the cupboard or the wall again without losing my balance. Yeah, this is the right spot for me. Yeah. And now I will perform 15 of these. Yeah. So basically that's the exercise for you as well. So I'm going back and try to touch the wall, and then I extend fully again and like this. I lied, so I'm not going to do 15 of these because it's your thing, yeah? So now please do 15 of this. I will move on. You can just pause the button, and then when you are finished with 2 sets of 15, you can have like 20 seconds of rest just to get refresh your nervous system just for a moment and then start it again. It's not really something that exhausts you, but it's just for your practice and to prime our body for the next exercise. Yeah. So after that, we have another primer, which we will do with a broomstick or any kind of stick that you can find. And you need to always touch this stick in 3 points. So at your nape, at the back of your head, also at the shoulder blades, and somewhere here around your hip. Yeah. So I will show you. So I use one hand in the top and one in the bottom. You will have kind of like a shoulder width. Shoulder wide stance, yeah, And you will do the same thing as we did before with the wall, pushing backwards my hip, my buttocks, as low as I can. You also need to go forward. So basically it's physics. So if you push your buttocks backwards, you also need to go forward with your torso, with your upper body. Otherwise, you will just fall backwards, yeah? So if I'm pushing it back, but I'm also not going, I just falling back, yeah? So basically, I need to go forward with my upper body when I'm pushing backward with my buttocks, yeah? So, starting the exercise again. You always need to have the 3 points, so it's not good if your neck is like this, so I'm not touching the stick, or also if I'm rounding my back, it's not good, yeah? So I need to touch it with 3 points and pushing back my buttocks, my glutes, flat back, and up. I don't want to go over, yeah? So just standing up, yeah? Like vertically pushing back and up. Pushing back and up. As you can see, my shins are vertical or almost vertical, yeah? So I don't want to push my knees forward or something like that. It's not about getting injured or anything like that. So for example, when you will use a hip hinge and you want to lift up something and you use your knees and you bend your knees forward, it's okay, you are not getting injured, but we want to distinguish hip hinges from squats, yeah? So hip hinges work more of your posterior chain, so the muscles in your back side. And when you do a squat type of exercise, it's working more your anterior chain, so your front side of your body and the muscles, yeah? So please do 2 sets of 15 repetitions of this stick exercise, and then we will move on. Now that we kind of knowing what a hip hinge should look like, we will do an actual kettlebell deadlift, yeah? So I will show you from 2 angles. First, I'm facing you. So basically, the handles of the kettlebell should be between your legs. Uh, and then, so about the weight, people can move really, really big weights with their hips and like with a deadlift. So maybe it seems a bit scary for you to use like a 16 kilogram kettlebell, which would be around like 35 pounds or something like that. But for a man, it should be okay, even for a woman. So beginners usually start with 12 kilograms or 16 kilograms. And usually this is not the bottleneck. So this is not the problem. When we get to the pressing, that's where you don't want too big of weight, but 16 kilograms for a man and also for a woman. So lower body strength usually doesn't have that much difference than like an upper body exercise, yeah? Anyways, so I will use a 16 for presentation. You can use a 16, 12 kilograms. You need to use some weight so you can feel the exercise, yeah? You don't want to use a really big weight because you can hurt yourself if you use like 80 kilograms or something like that. But it's okay to use a 16 and at least you feel some weight so you kind of can feel what's right and what's not. Okay, so getting back to the exercise. The handle should be around ankle level. Yeah, so here are my ankles, and the handle is kind of like that level. And I will do the same thing that we did with the wall. Yeah, so I'm pushing back my buttocks. When I reach the point that I can go further back, and I still can't reach the kettlebell with my hands, now I had to bend my knees. It's okay. I just try to do it in a way that I'm not putting forward my knees and my shins can stay vertical or almost vertical. Yeah, I'm grabbing the kettlebell hard I will show my chest to you as if I were a girl and I will try to seduce a gentleman at the counter, yeah? So I need to show my chest. It will strengthen my back, yeah? I try to keep as not vertical, but aiming for a vertical chest or something like that. And before I start to lift the kettlebell, I will create some tension by pulling it. So it's like not softly lifting up the kettlebell, but actually I'm starting to pressing with my leg and show some force. So there's a tension when I'm lifting it up, and then I lift up. And you are exhaling on the way up and inhaling on the way down, pushing your hips and your buttocks back. And when you reach the level when you can't push your buttocks even more further, then you will also bend your knees and touching the ground. And again. I will show you from another angle. So again, pushing your hips back. When I can't go further back because I lose my balance, I will also bend my knees. I show my chest to the gentleman at the counter. I have some tension. And even in the last repetition, you put the kettlebell down nicely. So you don't want to hurt your back or get a bad habit putting down things with a slouch or with the wrong form, yeah? So the last repetitions always count, yeah? Not just for your muscles, for getting the last drop of growth out of that, but also to be safe and not get injured with a stupid bad repetition, yeah? Okay, so please do 3 sets of 12 repetitions of this exercise, the kettlebell deadlift. So now we get the second type of exercises, the squats. Yeah. First, we will just do bodyweight squat, or as I like to call it, air squat. Yeah. So basically, you don't use a kettlebell or any weights, just your own body weight. Get like shoulder width stance or a little bit wider. You will feel what's comfortable for you, but don't get too wide because your hips usually can't really handle that one. Yeah, so like a shoulder width or a little bit wider than the shoulder width, and basically you just go down. I like to raise my hands. It gives some rhythm and it also helps to keep a vertical torso, yeah, an upright torso, and then go down as much as I can. Almost, I will show you in another angle and I will tell you something about it, and then go up. And again, my knees never should fall inwards, yeah? So it's like never having knees like this. It's not really good for your tendons. You always want to point the knees outwards, or at least in the direction of your femur, so the bone in your thighs and your shin. So you want to go like this. You can have like that or even more out. It's okay, but never inside. Yeah, and that's one thing. There is also a big myth that your toes should never ever go over. No, so your knees should never ever go over your toes. That's bullshit. Yeah, it's debunked. It's a wrong myth. Actually, it's healthy for your knees to have a full range of motion. You just need to build up the progressions. So first you start with a normal squat. If you have some pain, maybe you will just start with a half squat so you don't go fully down, but you should always aim to have full range of motion and so on. But in general, it's good if your knees go over your toes, and later you will have some weights and so on. And we have many ways to make it harder and to progress further. Yeah. Another very important thing that you don't want to raise your heels. Yeah. So when you go down, some people don't really have the mobility to go down in their hips or in their ankles. They don't have enough mobility, so they will start to raise their heels. If you can't do like a proper squat without raising your heels, then you can put something like a weight under your heels, but I recommend that you practice this. So it's not easy. You can do it like you can do squats at night when you are watching in the evenings watching TV, and you try to have a squat and like being here like for many minutes. Maybe you can hold on to your a chair or something to help you out. But in general, you should practice this. Some other things before we get to the exercise, I forgot to tell you. So for kettlebells, you either don't use any shoes, so that's very healthy if you're just doing like this. But if you are in a gym or outside or want to use some shoes, it's okay. But use something flat and stable. So like sneakers are really not good type of shoes for for lifting weights, because they are soft and you can't really convey or exert force through that. So basically, if you lift heavy or not too heavy, but you lift, you want to be stable and you also want to be able to push through to the ground. So that's how you can exert force. Yeah, that's one thing. And also the other thing is to be flat. So if you have higher heels, or it's really not good for your ankle mobility. So that's why many women have like lower back pains or knee pain, because they have high heels for a long period of time during the day, and they basically mess up their ankle mobility. And this way it will have consequences in your knees, lower back, even maybe in your shoulders and other parts of your body. Yeah. Anyways, for exercise, for a kettlebell exercise, either barefoot or you have like a flat and very thin sole shoe. Yeah. Okay. I will show you in another angle what we are doing. So again, shoulder width or a little bit wider, and raising your hands is just for rhythm, and also just it helps you to maintain an upper upright torso, upper body. So you're going down, you are bending your hip, you are bending your knee. It's okay if your knees go over the toes. I'm doing this for decades and I have no knee problems. Actually, it's my knees are always strong. And as you can see, I came up quite down, so my knees are higher than my hips. Yeah, I can go even further down here, but as you can see, I start to bend my lower back, and this is called butt wing. So there is a big debate about in the field of exercise, that if it's a butt wing is evil or not. Basically, my stance about this, if you're doing a bodyweight squat, is okay. So it's you will have no problems with your lower back if you're doing a bodyweight squat. So basically, you don't have any load on yourself, and stay in this position. I always do this. I like to improve my mobility by staying in this position for a long time. It's okay. You will not have a problem, and you can do a lot of repetitions. When you start to use weights, I tend to agree with people who say butt wing is not the best for your lower back, but I'm not super strict about it. Yeah. So when I'm here, maybe I have a little bit of bend in my lower back, but it's okay, in my opinion. Yeah. But I don't go fully down here. So if I'm holding a kettlebell or a barbell on my back, I don't want to go fully like this depth. Yeah, I always try to have like a little bit of tension in my lower back, and I keep a little bit of arch there. Yeah. Okay, so let's see a few repetitions. You want to have depth. So even though we want to avoid butt wing, but you don't want to stop the repetition here. You want to have a deep squat. Yeah. Now it's your turn. Do 3 sets of 12 repetitions now. So now we will do it with a kettlebell. First, I will show you how to take up the kettlebell. Yeah. So we already learned the kettlebell deadlift. Basically, what we'll do is like a very quick deadlift. So you still need to pay attention to your lower back and your form, yeah. And especially when you're going down, you don't need to be quick. So you will do a normal kettlebell deadlift. So you're pushing back your hips, and when you can go further, you will bend your knees, grab the kettlebell, you have some tension, and then you have a deadlift, but you will fasten it up, speed it up just a little bit, and you can have it here. And also, this is the goblet hold, yeah? So I'm going a little bit closer so you can see it better. But actually, it can be quite hard if you are keeping it here, yeah? So you want to go as close as to your chest as you can. Maybe I'm bumping the microphone, but that's okay. And also, you want to support with your forearms as well. So sometimes I see beginners like holding like this. This is very hard for your shoulders and everything. So you can support it if you are like grabbing it like this. Yeah. So I'm helping with my forearms as well. Okay. So let's see. Basically, from that point is the same thing as the bodyweight squat. You go down and up, down and up. Inhale, exhale. Yeah. And when you finish, you get it and you put it down like a nice kettlebell deadlift. Yeah. One thing to keep in mind, it's interesting that actually, if you don't have a good mobility, so maybe you have issues with your ankles or hips, not with your ankles, but with your ankles, then maybe it will be easier for you to do it with the kettlebell than the bodyweight squat, the air squat. I mean, it's harder with the muscles, but it's easier to keep balance because you have something in front of you. So you don't want to fall backwards, even though maybe you have bad mobility. So many people who can do like a normal squat without raising their heels or falling backwards can do a goblet squat. Yeah. So this is the goblet squat, and please do. I mean, if you have like a 12 kilogram-ish, kind of like if you are a man, or if you are a woman, like a 6 or 8 kilogram kettlebell, and please do 3 sets of 6 repetitions. Yeah, so 3 sets of 6 repetitions. Now we will learn about the kettlebell presses, overhead presses. Yeah, it's very important if you have any like watch or any kind of jewelry on your wrists, please take it down because you will ruin it. Because the kettlebell will go right here in this position. So I just take it down. Yeah. So first you learn about the kettlebell rack position. Before I taking it up, I just tell you about it a little bit. So basically, the kettlebell will rest here in this pocket in my upper and forearm, yeah, and I try to keep it close to my body, so I'm not letting it outside, yeah, or outwards falling or something like that. It's a lot of tension and a lot of energy for your muscles to keep it from there, so you want to keep it close. You want to have like an upright torso. You don't lean this way or this way. You just keeping it like here. Yeah, I show you later. Not today, but in another lesson, we will learn how to pick up with the kettlebell swing kind of things, which called kettlebell clean. But now we will just use our other hands. So basically, you will get a normal stance like with the kettlebell deadlift. Go down. Go backwards, sorry, I used the wrong word, and then bend your knees to reach the kettlebell, and you lift it and help it with the other hand, yeah, and get it here. Oh, and I forgot to tell you one very important thing, sorry, especially if you are using an overhead movement, so for example, like the overhead press, it's better to grab the kettlebell, the handle, just a little bit the other side than the grabbing arm. So if I'm grabbing it with my right arm, I'm not grabbing it in the middle, just a little bit the other side to the left. Not much, not here in like down there, just very still horizontal, but just a little bit to the other side. The kettlebell will lie on your forearm better, yeah? So, not here, but here. You grab it, you help it, and that's it. So it's not outside here, but here. And from that position, we will do an overhead press, yeah? So I go a little bit backwards so you can still see the whole picture, hopefully. So I will push my shoulder blades down. So you never want to have your shoulders up. It's not really healthy for your shoulders most of the time. So you want your ears as far as from your shoulders as you can. So my shoulder blades down in the pocket. Yeah. It's also very important that my wrists are straight, so they are not pulled backwards by the kettlebell. Yeah. So I'm not letting this, but like really strong and straight. Yeah, it's not easy for you at the beginning because it will actually push on your muscles on the forearm and it can be uncomfortable or a little bit painful, but that's normal. It's okay. Just you need to stand it. Yeah, so it's okay. You will get used to it in the future, and basically you will push up and then coming down. A few things. You don't want to go outside and push like this. This is kind of like would be a bodybuilding type of overhead press. What we try to do is the most effective way of presses, which means that your forearm should be always vertical. So as you can see, it's vertical. Yeah. When you start to do like kind of like a triceps extension, so let's say like here, I need to do a triceps extension. It's not really the most efficient or effective way of doing the press. Yeah. So I'm doing like this, and also you have a little bit of rotation, and your elbow always facing forward. Yeah. So it's not facing outward; it's facing forward. And you squeeze up a little bit of air and inhale on the downward side, on the downward motion, yeah? And when you finish, you grab the kettlebell and you put it down, and you do it with the other hand as well. So it depends on how it's never easy to calculate the weight for this at the first time, especially I'm not there with you. But if you're trying with a 12 kilogram and you are a man, you should try like 5 repetitions for 3 sets. You can rest like 30, 60 seconds between sets, not between repetitions. That would be quite a challenge. If you are a woman, you can start with a 6 or 8 kilogram, or maybe even 4. It's up to you. I don't know how strong you are, and try to do like 5, 6 repetitions per sets and 3 sets. If you're a stronger man, you can try to do with 16, like 4, 5, 6 repetitions for 3 sets. Yeah, you can always play with the repetitions. So with kettlebells, maybe you only have one kettlebell, maybe you have a big kettlebell or a small kettlebell. So if it's very hard for you, maybe you just do 2 repetitions per sets. Sooner or later, in weeks or month, you will get there when you will do 3, 4, 5, or many more repetitions per sets. It's okay. If you have a very light kettlebell but you don't have a bigger one, you can do more. Even though in the first few lessons when you are learning a skill like a movement, I don't want to go too high on the repetitions because I want you to concentrate on each repetition to have good form. Yeah, and one more important thing when you are doing the press, so you don't really want to go outside. Yeah. And you don't really want to go to forward or something like that. So from, actually I will show you. So as you can see, when I'm pressing, basically my forearm is covering my ears, yeah? So it's fully vertical and it's here. It's not too back here, so you don't need to go backwards. And you also don't need to hold here because it would be quite hard even for me as well. And as you can see, you don't go outside, you go like here with vertical. And the other thing, you try to always do a fully erect elbow, yeah, so extended, not erect but extended elbow. So some people have like very tight biceps and maybe they can't go fully extended, but in general you should aim for a fully extended elbow, and that's it. And down there, and now it's your turn to do the kettlebell presses. One more exercise and we are finished for today. It will be the one arm kettlebell split stance row. So basically what we will do, we will have like a split stance. I just need the space for it. And you will just support yourself here with your forearm. If it's more comfortable, you can do it like this. It would be better if your upper body is kind of horizontal. It will never be horizontal, but as you can see, it's more upright if I'm doing like this, and it's more horizontal if I'm doing like this. So we will have the kettlebell here, but first I just want to explain you the movement. So basically with pulling exercises, you want to start first with your shoulder blade. So my shoulder blade is now out and now I'm pulling it back and down, yeah? So back and down, yeah? So down means like my shoulder is getting away from my ears. It's not up. You don't want to do like rows like here, but you want your shoulders away from your ears. So first you start with that, and after that you lead with your arm, and actually not even with your arm, but with your elbow, because we want to use our latissimus dorsi, the lats, yeah? So you don't want to make it like a bicep exercise when you're doing this, or like a half bicep exercise. You want to imagine that this point, your elbow is going down to your pocket, yeah? And basically that's what will lead the whole movement. If you cut off your, don't do it, please, but if you cut off your forearm and you imagine that you can have a hook here, basically that would move the whole weight. That's what we should imagine, yeah? Okay, so you are grabbing the kettlebell, and first you start with your shoulder blades down, and then and out, shoulder blades down, and then. And after a while, if you are getting good, you can do it continuously, smoothly, without doing it in two parts. But if you can't handle it well, you can just first do with the shoulder blade and after that with the arm, with the elbow, yeah? So please do 3 sets of 12 repetitions with each arm, yeah? And again, if it's too heavy or too low, you can go higher, you can go lower or higher with the reps. But hopefully it's, usually people can move pretty big weights with the rowing, so I think you should be good. Thank you and see you soon.